We are recording here. Wow. Welcome, Phillip Rankin. Thank you so much for jumping on. Everybody, welcome to the Wealth Through Health podcast. We have special guest Phillip Rankin here, and he's talking about everything to do with personalizing this health journey for us. A lot of us out there are struggling, whether it's stress, food, exercise, not seeing the results, aging quicker than ever before, and kids getting sicker earlier than ever in history. And so we're going to discuss what's really going on here. So Phillip is a world-renowned expert and lecturer at the International Institute of Origin Medicine.
Original medicine, yeah, that's right, yeah.
Original medicine. Phillip trains PhD candidates, naturopaths, and other health professionals on this specific health science that we're going to go through today. It's really unique. I've never actually seen this before. We had the pleasure of connecting in Sydney about 4 months ago, and just randomly got to meet your son and the team and yourself. And I was like, Phillip, we got to do this interview. So this is 4 months on. Appreciate your time. For those who don't know Phillip, he brings vision, passion, and inspiration to this industry and wants to help everyone. He particularly focuses on the basic knowledge of preventative medicine for those interested in a quality life, and also looking at mineral deficiency, dehydration, and toxicity in the pursuit of studying what is perfect health. So he believes in the body's capability to heal itself and believes the answer to optimal wellness is right under our nose, which I love to kind of unpack and dive into that. We can't tell too many secrets, but
no, that's right.
For those of you who are here in this post or around the video, you'll see the website to connect and see this awesome work that he's been doing. So thank you so much for your time, Phillip.
Oh, it's great. It's really a privilege and an honor to talk to young people about their health. And I suppose what I look forward to is sharing what I found for myself. That's what I look forward to sharing with others. And let's crack right into it. Good health's not actually an option for everybody, and that's a harsh statement, because it actually means that we have to change some of the things that we've been doing and recognize that whether it's a habit, lack of hydration, lack of eating correctly, it's not about being wrong. It's about just understanding the impact on the biochemistry. So I just so excited still after 14 years of finding this discovery, of sharing it with others, for those that are looking for answers, really. They're looking for the truth. And I think as human beings, all of us, no matter our age, we just want to know the truth. We're happy to deal with what we've got to deal with, but if we can find some truths to make life a bit more comfortable, less pain, and that's what we're out after.
That's awesome. There's a lot of people here listening who are truth seekers. So whether that's health knowledge or what's going on in the world, I think everyone's going to get a lot out of this. I was just trying to find the best position with the lighting here. I've this outside desk, and so the sun at this time of the day is great. So just kind of changes the lighting. Anyway, would love to know, where did this passion come from? How did you get involved, and how did you come to be doing?
Yeah, okay. Look, about 14 years ago, I went through a really tough time in life. Just to quickly skim across that, I pretty much got wrapped up in a big property development boom and lost a fortune, and ended up losing everything back in 06-ish. And then from a couple of years on, really wanted to find a lot of things, find myself in life in a sense. But because I'd lost everything, reputation, no one took anything, didn't lose anything. We didn't really know what happened until the GFC news came out that the whole world was in a free fall. And so I just wanted to find some truths. My twin brother then had lost his daughter in a drowning accident not long after I lost everything. Our whole lives were completely upside down, and right to the point where I realized the one statement that we all talk about but don't do anything about it is health is number one in our lives, and it truly is. And for all the young people, if I could just share with them that the one thing they're going to carry for the rest of their life, that'll take them to the grave, that will be in their words and in every movement and every relationship and even in your language, is your health. And we say it, health's number one, but what I found for myself is that I was not healthy. I was surfing, I was running, playing touch footy. I thought I was fit, but in fact, when I first tested inside the biochemistry, I was pre-diabetic, ready to have a heart attack, just like my father and grandfather had done before me. And at 43, I was sitting there going, well, enough is enough. I've lost everything. The one thing I want to look after is my health. So I decided, thankfully, I had a hand in my back. I didn't have a life-threatening illness, but I had a situation where I had nothing left, and I wanted to look after my health and find the truth behind what it is to look after your health. So I wandered off. I went to many different natural health practitioners, all doing amazing things, but still not giving me an analytical truth. And I fast forward that now. We look at a analytical system with scientific evidence, if you like, from the instruments to pinpoint exactly where the biochemistry is. And having learnt that over 12, 14 years, I self-trained. I went to America 4 times. I trained myself in hunting down really what are the answers without guessing. And before Fitbits, before personal measurement devices, before 10, 12, 14 years ago, those items weren't around for self-care management or personal care. And so when I came across these set of numbers, I went down the rabbit hole to find out the truth of how we work and what's good for us.
It's fascinating how the world has changed, and I'm super curious. I think one of the biggest tragedies within my generation is that we don't have too many of these elders sharing truths from their experience to the tribe, to the younger generation, to help them steer the ship, for future generations and to pass this knowledge on. And so I'd love to know, from your point of view, how has the health industry changed? Where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
Why are we in this mess that we're in? From your point of view?
Well, this is, again, I won't hold back any punches here. I'll
let it rip.
Let it rip. Okay. So for you that are listening and sharing this, fundamentally, there's an abdication of responsibility. We have, in our generations, left it up to others and have passed that methodology on to you guys coming through building the world. And now, if you choose just to embrace your responsibility for your own health, it's game on. Because, and innately as human beings, we love the truth. We really, as much as it hurts sometimes, we won't stop till we get the truth. Whether that's an accident on the side of the road, what happened? Whether that is, how does calcium work, or what food's good for me? If you stop looking for the truth, that's your problem. But and leave it up to someone else, that is, then it becomes your problem. But all I could say is that fundamentally, your biochemistry, Zach, is making its way to perfect every breath. So good health is within you, within your reach. And if you embrace that responsibility of how much water should I drink? Are you correctly hydrated? How much sugar and how much salt do I need? Because it's not bad. Sugar's not bad. It's been made bad. It's not bad. It's actually what we need to live. Is the right amount of sugar is fundamental to your life. But if too much sugar and abuse of sugar and foods that are high in sugars and not mineral content for nutrition is not serving your energy where you want to go. So you can end up tired, fatigued, skin health issues. You can end up with infertility. You can end up with so many issues around the fundamentals of your biochemistry not getting what it needs. Yet perfect health is within inside of you and every breath. And if you forget to drink, if you get to drink some water, no matter where it comes from, clean, filtered, affordable water, and if you forget to drink that for 4 hours and then forget to drink for 3 days, you'll be pushing up daisies. You'll be dying of dehydration. So if we look at our responsibility for our own health, not the beautiful doctors and the physicians and the people that are studying how to get you well, it starts in your own right in your own self. So learning about your body, learning what's going into your body, learning what's energy's going in, what's right for your body, started my journey in understanding what's right for me to get out of that pre-diabetic state. You know, the bourbons and cokes, the steaks and the excess and the late nights and the stress and the emotions all take a toll on your biochemistry. So there's a penalty to go if you get out there at 2 o'clock in the morning and we're high on chemicals, whatever that be. It's not wrong. It's in excess. And not to compensate that with good nutrition, good hydration, rest, some mindfulness, some meditation, some stretching, some, hot bath, and put your feet in the salt water and take a breath and sit in the sun when you need to, is all components of your biochemistry. So, and even your language. This is what I find really interesting. There's a lot of anger, and I can show you in road rage. I could test, literally watch a road rage incident, drag someone out of the car, take a urine sample, and I guarantee you their salts will be 4 times over, because the body's so intense, so dehydrated, ready to fight and be angry at their frustration. It's not them and a personal loving spirit. It's their literally, let's say, 4 times over in their salt content, which is giving them a huge electrical overload, and somebody with too much electricity in it. It's like a toaster. Plug it into a 415 outlet when it should be just plugged into the wall at 240, it'll fry. And that's the same thing that's going on in society. So that person is literally mineral deficient, dehydrated, not angry. And if I had 2 or 3 hours with them, that road rage concept would disappear.
Wow, this is, putting the basics and the fundamentals back into this health equation, and looking at, okay, if we're feeling these certain emotions, maybe it's, well, you're saying it is having to do with our biochemistry. So can you just help us understand what is biochemistry at its basic kind of definition?
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
awesome. And I couldn't spell some of the words that I learned when I first started this, and how we test them with the instruments. And bio is life, and chemistry is the if you like, the juices and the flow that goes in of our body. Whether some biochemistries is about the, if you like, the chemical components that rotate, resolve, and dissolve around our body to create new life. And so we're looking at the way the molecules, we're looking at the whether there's correct hydration, creating new cells. Ultimately, when someone says, I've got lots of energy, what they're actually saying is they've got more new cells, they've been given new life, and they're replacing the dead and dying cells with lots of wonderful new energy, meaning new life, new cells. It comes down to that cell production in the body. So our body is making new cells all the time. But yours is making more than mine, being a younger person where mine's starting to slow down. So I want to slow it down even more and extend that life on the planet, if you like. So to do that, if I correctly hydrate my body, it can then get the mineral nutrition that it needs to create new life for me and slow up that dead and dying process and give myself more new life. So nearly 60, I can have a biochemistry or a body manufacturing as much new life as someone that's very ill at 28 years old, 29, 30. We can have a person with a life-threatening illness at 30 dying fast. Now, most of us are not in that situation, so that's severe. And so what it means is that the biochemistry or your body can actually slow up your aging process by not creating, by creating more new cells and more new life into your body than it is having dead and dying cells. And that sounds terrible. It might feel uncomfortable for some, but that's the truth. And so if you're correctly hydrated, if you have all the minerals, so looking at you, I'm looking at 85 minerals and water. That's who I'm looking at. All right. So I'm talking physically, not talking spiritually or emotionally or mentally. Let's just talk at the physical body that I'm looking at. Behind you is a pane of glass that's got about 4 minerals in it. You've got 85. Right. So 85 on ratio, we've got calcium and We've got the macros, we've got the big lots of minerals in our body that take up probably 60%. Then we've got about 80 or 70 or 80 minerals that take up such a small amount of our body. But when you put all those together and they dance, the molecular dance together, they create energy, they create life, they keep you alive. Add water, just like you add water into washing up the dishes like you do, right? You add water to that soap and you've got bubbles. You've got energy. You've got energy coming out to break up fats. Now you can clean the plates. But if you just put that by itself and don't add water on it, this dehydrated sink, you're not going to clean the dishes real well. They're going to be greasy and fatty, right? So it's the same thing. It's just how we're operating in life. And so we can tell by the urine and saliva just how far away or what's missing in the biochemistry. So body. So think biochemistry, think your body. Think the water, the minerals, the bones, the skin, the cellular structure. Think of you as a physical being. And now we're looking at the components that make new life in that body.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. It's I guess like what we would usually consider our body, you know, these parts of us that are there. And, you know, when we eat some food, you know, most of us aren't educated on what we're putting in our body or the amounts that we're putting in our body. And it was really interesting doing the test with you guys, doing the pee sample, urine sample, and within a couple of minutes, you were able to show my salts, my protein. What were those? What was
so
it?
what we looked at, we took a urine sample and little saliva sample, and really in 4 or 5 minutes, we can see predominantly, I'll keep it really simple without teaching the test, but what we looked at is what's in excess here. So whether it's your test or anybody's, in 4 or 5 minutes, we can see, is there too much carbs or salts? Is it too high or too low? You might be overhydrating, so you've washed out, so you know you're peeing clear and there's no energy in your body, and so you get tired, fatigued. You might be too high. There's too many carbs and too many salts. When you're creating energy in our body, we have heat, carbs, and salts, electricity, and we've got pHs running at sort of a pressure or a speed in our digestion. So we've got heat, electricity, and pressure creating energy. This is E equals MC squared. This is the guy you wear on your t-shirt sometimes, like Einstein. So we've got heat, electricity, and pressure happening all the time in our body. So we looked at your urine and saliva and said, this is too high, this is too far, the pH is too fast, and the salts are too high. So we're wasting energy. You've put energy into your body and it wasn't properly hydrated, so it's come out and there's excess. So we can give you more energy by properly hydrating your body. We haven't even started on the type of food yet or eliminating the foods and that are not serving you. We'll get to that. But now we've said, right, you're actually thirsty, you're not hungry. And if you satisfy that thirst, your energy will go through the roof. And if you do that every day, and then next week, your feet will hit the floor when you get out of bed in the morning, you just go, my goodness me, well, what's going on? I just feel fantastic. I've had a really good sleep. My body's been able to rest, because some people go to sleep and they wake up tired. How's that possible? Right? What's happening is that biochemistry is overworking all night with no water in it. We've got a dry creek bed happening, and you know, we're asking to grow new life and there's no water. It's impossible. And so over time, that deteriorates your body to make it tired, fatigued, you know, skin spots, or we get white spots on the fingernails, or someone is overweight, because that's just stored energy. It's nothing to do with fat. It's actually to do with they haven't been able to utilize the energy going in the body. So the body says, well, hang on, you're putting it in, I'll store it. I haven't used it, I'll store it. There's nothing wrong with fat. It's just stored energy. And what we do is we get your biochemistry, and you're not fat, but we get the biochemistry into a zone where you can use that energy, and the body will use that energy, not store it. So that leads to dis-ease. That leads to a lack of ease or a lack of calmness in the body to do what it's supposed to do, is to recover and heal.
Yeah, it was really interesting doing that test with you guys, and yeah, breaking this down makes a lot of sense. And it's like sometimes we overcomplicate being healthy. You know, we've had a lot of experts on the show talking about you know, the benefit of sunlight and grounding, and, you know, not having blue light, you know, at nighttime from the television, laptop, the screens, lights and things at nighttime, because that helps us sleep. And so what we're talking about here is more of the physical structure of the body, and they're both just as important. Is that right?
Well, if I did that test on me and you, it would be totally different. So we're in the room together. We might have had the same lunch. We've got a different life. We've got a different age. We've got things going on differently emotionally, and spiritually we're the same, similar, and yet our lives are completely different. So I'd be lucky enough to go, let's say I was lucky enough to go and surf all day. I don't need any more sunlight. I've got too much. You might be working in an office all day and you haven't got enough. So what people are sharing is that they're not wrong, is that we do need sunlight. Some need more than others because they're working in an office, and some need to get out of the sun and cover up because they're in it all day and trying to catch waves. So there's a real, and no one's wrong in a sense, that whether it's turmeric or whether it's a fad, what we're doing is testing the individual to see that what of those components need to be raised and what needs to be eliminated and what needs to be reduced. And so where we've probably, one of the factors we've lost in this world of one pill fits all is we've lost a self, well, how do I say this? Like, we've lost the ability to treat the individual, and rather, we've all got a headache, we all take a tablet, it all goes away. My interest is to find out why I got the headache, and I don't want it again, and I don't want to be consistently forever on a medication to get rid of a migraine. So there is a self, is it, and I never had this, so please, I'm not preaching like this. I was always like this. I thought I had a body that I could eat everything and go to the toilet, it'll come out and I'll do it all again tomorrow, and play hard at footy and go surfing. I didn't care about what was going in here. So I was one of those as well. So I suppose I got the lesson of a lifetime. And so learning that lesson, what I realized and what I'd ask you to consider is that how much do I really value myself enough to see what's right for me, not for the next person. Sure, if you've got a headache, take a tablet, get rid of the headache and get to work, and then find out why you got the headache. Or no, that abdication responsibility comes in and it's like, I'll just take a tablet tomorrow because I'll have a headache tomorrow. But I was interested and I got interested and I was forced to be interested. But I chose it to be excited and truly amazed how, if you like, why I got that headache was back here, here, and here. I change it. I've never had a headache. So that's the abdication responsibility that moves in. If you've got ease and comfort just at your fingertips, fine, choose it. But good health is for those that are ready to understand, well, why did I put on weight? Why am I tired and fatigued in the morning? Why have I got black spots on my lungs? And why is the skin spotty and the toner, or I might have a white spot on my toner, on my nail? Why is that? And so that interest is of being down the rabbit hole to understand that the mineral deficiency or calcium deficiency is the reason you've got white spots on your nails. That the fingernail hasn't had enough mineral or nutrition in the body to grow the fingernails strong so you can scratch that old chalkboard. Lots of signs. And then I encourage, I'm there to talk to yourself until the cows come home. If you're interested in your health, you can seek the truth. And the people that are sharing their knowledge, what we've done one step further is to actually look at you as an individual in that moment. Have a look at your urine, which is sterile, there's nothing dirty about it. We've been brought up to go, oh my God, urine. When I first started testing, I'm like, oh, what's going on? It's like, no, actually, the secrets to your life were in that little jar. And if you are motivated enough to really to discover that, to get that sample close to ideal based on a mathematical formula, it's incredible what you'll find out about yourself. And I've discovered that to know yourself is to know firstly the physical body, and then to traverse over to your feelings and thoughts, and your emotions will be a reaction from a great state, different to that guide road rage. There's no road rage when you're sitting in a healing zone in your biochemistry. You literally have to go out of your mind to carry on like that, because your body won't allow you to do that.
It's such an interesting point. Yeah, and so what I liked about when we did this test the other month, and
Yeah.
when we were chatting the other week, you were saying this takes the guesswork out, and it allows you to really have that personalized look at what's going on. And I remember, I think it was like 4 p.m. I did the test, and you said, look, you probably don't need much more food today. You probably just need a little bit of water, but not too much water, you know.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's really interesting. And so it was actually going against the
Yeah.
potential having another meal or eating some extra type of food, and looking at, okay, what is my body saying right now? What is that
Yeah.
frequency that I'm in? And going based on where you're at, this is the best next step, rather
Okay.
than
Look,
this.
yeah, that's great, because look at it like this, right? What we did is we got an insight into your biochemistry by taking what's coming out as waste. Now, body's always going to never stop working. Even when you go to sleep, it's never stop working. You get up and pee in the morning, and you look at all the waste that's come out, or could be not enough. And so when we looked at that, what we said is, you are thirsty, you're not hungry. You've actually got energy unutilized in your body. We've got carbs and salts in there that haven't been used. How do we know that? Well, they've come out. The body's got cleaned the blood. It's cleared all the excess out of the blood. There's too much energy in there. It's actually dehydrated. And so if you got to my age and you were always like that, you'd be tired, fatigued, cranky. You probably have road rage. And you'd have a mineral deficient body that's dehydrated. And there'll be things going wrong. There'll be, aches and pains in shoulders from footy tackles that just don't repair and never got better, because we need to build new cells, but we can't. We're only, you're probably, let's say, working at, I think we got a health score, let's say, of 75%. Well, your body, in fact, was only working at 75%. And so do that for a long time, and things go bump in the night, things go wrong. You start to lose your vision, or you start to bend over, or you start to get tired, fatigue, you put on weight, you don't know what's missing. So all we're doing then is looking for the truth at that moment in time. Now, as you go on and keep testing, you'll start to feel what's healthy for you. You will know without testing you've got dehydrated state. You can actually feel it, because you're in a habit for, let's say, 3 weeks to 3 months, and all of a sudden I know how much water I should have. I know how long we're talking here, and that we've got to have a drink of water every half hour, because we're using water here now. You'll feel it. We've lost the feeling of that. We don't know what's good for us. There's a bit of fear there. There's a bit of run to the next answer, run to the next answer. And yet the truth is within us. You seek the truth within. And I've had a beautiful comment one day. Florence Scovel Shinn wrote a book called The Game of Life. And she wrote, go within or go without. And so I honestly believe that if you go within yourself and look for the answers, and not be scared of some people have never looked at their urine before. I can show you pictures of urine that are frightening, and sometimes from a 10-year-old child. And no one's ever looked. It's just run to, a child's got a headache, he's acting crazy, he's got so much energy. Imagine your numbers doubled and your body running at 50%, and you're 10 years old. And I would say, the teacher would say, sit still. And they can't sit still. They can't. It's not a choice. The body's just full of electricity. It's full of energy. It can't think properly because the brain's dehydrated. All right. And so we've got a real serious situation that's mineral deficient and dehydrated, not behavioral activity problems, mineral deficient, dehydrated. So, and it's sometimes hard to hear, and there's people looking for answers, and just the behavioral issues that change when your biochemistry comes into an ideal place is phenomenal. it's inspired me to continue on this, not as a doctor or a natural health. I now teach natural health practitioners the system so that they can even effectively see if the guide that they're doing, whether it's nutrition or whether it's mineral supplements or whether it's a kinesiology session or an acupuncture session, actually changes the biochemistry to the betterment, closer to perfect, or take them away from it. And that one of those examples, and we look forward to talking to you over time. I won't go too deep into it now, but one of those examples is taking vitamin C for a cold. In most cases, and you don't know until you test, if your urine was in an acidic level and you're asked to take ascorbic acid or vitamin C, that actually has a cationic effect. It actually drives the pH lower. What cures that cold is someone told you to go and drink water, go and rest, do not go to work, go and sit in the sun for a minute and stop thinking while you're going on. Just calm down and take it easy, have a nice hot broth. And the calmness or the alkalizing effect of all of those activities, not the vitamin C, because the vitamin C's pushed you away from absorbing it in that cationic state. Now, that was unheard of when I asked. I did not know that when I began. But until you do the urine pH test, in a sense, in the factor, I didn't know that. And so, yeah, we've lost a lot of the knowing inside ourselves, just what actually and what works. We've asked for answers up front. We wanted the answers now. So it's a little bit of a journey, hunt those answers down. And as an individual, there's not one urine test of the thousands I've done. I work with elite athletes. I work with sick and dying. I work with natural health practitioners for the betterment of those biochemistries. But really what's happening, that body's healing and curing itself. We're not doing it. We're putting it into a place, in a position where it can create the most amount of new cells, not waste energy, be properly hydrated, and let the body do what it does naturally. No one cures the body. The body can heal itself. And that's my opinion. And that's the hard-hitting facts of, yes, a pill can take a headache away, but we're looking at what caused it, not the symptom.
So interesting. This is so interesting, and no one's really giving us this insight. But now you've and the reason we're here as well is to educate people that there is a solution to peeking through the curtain of our own biochemistry without having to go to a doctor or practitioner. You can actually do this test at home, similar to the HEALY, doing a frequency scan. This is now a biochemistry scan.
Yes.
Anytime you want, in your bathroom, at home, at work, if you go on holiday, you can test exactly where before exercise, after exercise, before a fast, after a fast, or whatever it is that you're doing, to then figure out exactly how far out are you to equilibrium or balance.
That's right.
And so I'd love to just quickly, how did that come about? How did you, so you've been doing this for 14 years already, and now you're about to launch this new kit, so to speak. Is that what we call it?
Yeah,
Kit
great.
that allows you
Okay.
to peer through your own biochemistry in real time, so you can
Well,
tweak your own health. Is that right?
well, I think I did, I suppose, the grinding studies. I went to America. I worked with Dr. Better, some great practitioners in America that are not actually on it for as much as they do because of the antagonistic sort of concept between naturopathic and allopathic. And there's a real challenge, and we won't go into it today, but the difficulty for people to embrace their own health versus chasing symptomology. Neither of them is wrong, and the problem has been is that abdication of responsibility. So we'll talk about that another day. But if somebody's embracing their own health, what my sons have done is literally, I would say, nearly test themselves most days. And so human health, Campbell created human health on the back of talking to your generation and the coming generations on keeping it really simple. I'll teach practitioners, and if some of those young people need practitioners, we're building a platform of experts, practitioners to take on the big tasks. So what Campbell's done in human health have done, they put together the little kit so that people will basically have instructions, and they put their own samples together, and they put that back into the post and send that off. And so we get a real quick insight without teaching too much, because to be honest, most people haven't got the time and not ready or not willing. 9 out of 10 or 90 out of 100 are not ready to be a practitioner, nor need to be. They just need to know what to do, what to eat, what to take, and that test will tell them that. For the heavy hitting serious issues that have gone on for some time, or generational, or you might have been born with, then we move up and step it up a level and take it to a practitioner. So for a very simple test to get an understanding of the biochemistry and a report to know what to do to change those numbers back to ideal, Human Health has put together that incredible postal kit. And so I think you're going to put a link up there, and look, we're in a sense sharing some information, and would passionately love people to be interested in their health. This is one way to do it. There's many ways to take that pathway. And so this is one way to find some truth, to get a good understanding, to start to wander down, to get on put a backpack on of I'm going to find health, and get on the journey to really honor what's been one of the greatest gifts that you've been given, from your mum.
Absolutely. That's, yeah. So that it's,
Can I just
really,
say, yeah, sorry, you brought up something just then really quickly. I got asked to come to help Dave Reynolds, who won Bathurst in Bathurst 1000 in 2017, and he had some real health issues throughout the next following year, and he was in the lead in 2017 to 2018, and he had to come out of the race because he was going through some real health issues at the time. He was actually in the lead. They pulled him out. So 2019, I went down to Adelaide and Bathurst and worked with 4 racing car drivers. We did 5 days of testing 5 times a day. And there's no health issues, so to speak, there, but it was for performance, which is the same for you and me, just getting up, getting performance and recovery. It's really all about recovery, how quick we could get to a recovery point after each event, after each race. So we tested 5 times a day. No, I don't suggest this for everybody. We don't need to drive at 300 kilometers an hour every day. But these guys came out of the back end on Sunday night feeling absolutely delighted, very healthy, ready to drive all week, with their words. And Luke Youlden and Dave Reynolds both learned to test themselves now. And so whether you're elite sports, whether you just want to get your health in order, whether there's a nagging health issue that's been going on in your life or your generations, it's really then a discovery of you as an individual. You're different than the next person, and what's good for you may not be good for the next person, and vice versa. And it's not a difficult process. Everyone thinks, oh my goodness, this is like climbing a mountain. It's not. It's paying attention to your daily, what are you putting in your mouth? I mean, we all go to work hard all their life. We try to, create a relationship. There may be children, there may be a house, there may be a car, maybe a mortgage, all that type of thing. You carry this health with you. And so it should be one of our predominant items in your diary every week.
Seriously, from the moment I saw this test and had a chat with you guys and how healthy and vital you guys looked and felt, I was just like, I need this deeper awareness into my own health. I eat healthy. I'm very aware already, but I was like, maybe there's another level of communication I can be conscious of, and then choose more consciously to perfect more consistent energy every single day. So yeah, if any of you out there, as Phillip has mentioned, an athlete, right, wanting to get the best out of your performance, whether you've got kids as well, can you use this with kids?
Kids, the youngest I've tested was a 3-month-old baby, and we actually had some health issues because of the mum had some health issues. So
yeah,
we got them both well, and you're absolutely correct, Zach. Look, it may be 2 or 3 things for you to actually improve what you've got, and then If you do that every year till you get to my age, you'll probably run fast at 100 meters at my age then. So it may not be a lot for some people, and you've already on the journey of eating well. You're working hard. You just may need 3 or 4 things, and it's just like that tuning up of your vehicle every 2 or 3 weeks. You get to a point where then you don't need to tune it then you can tune it every month. Then you can say, well, I know when I fall out of my regimes and I go on these work hard, eat wrong, don't drink water, and don't have a break or a holiday, put my feet in the sun and salt water, then you can go back to a set of instruments and go, hey, let me get my bearings again. And so it's not to make you wrong or a punishment tool, it's your companion. And when you get to know yourself and you get to feel well, and you understand how that actually feels and what comes from that in your environment, then you get to experience something that you may or may not have ever had the opportunity to feel before. But when you get to that level and you feel it and you see what you did to get there and honor that, there's no turning back. You really find yourself focused on different work goals, different relationship conversations, more meaningful, more of an understanding and a gratitude of just what's going on in your body right now is absolutely amazing. How it turns sugar into cells or meat and salads into muscle. How that does that is fascinating. And the more you understand and appreciate that, your energy will just reflect in that. Your words will reflect it. Your emotions will reflect in it. The people around you, it's contagious, and that they will get that from you as well.
It's a really, really good point. And so, or maybe you're just out there and you just want that extra little bit of, like you're a biohacker out there and you're wanting that more, better, deeper, more clearer understanding of where you're at, or whether you've got a health challenge and you're wanting to, self heal at home, which is what we're all about. And I think this is such an important time. I think really this is the most empowering thing we can do for our health. And anyone who's curious and wants to learn more, humanhealth.com and humanhealth.com/healthscan-promotion. And would love to, and I want to get one of these test kits for myself and do this consistently for the next, I guess, 3 months, and to really test it out, because I feel like there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, and Zach, I think that's great, and I really, I suppose share with people or invite them to consider the cost of ill health, and we just don't till it happens. We don't know something is not going to happen. Of course, we don't know what we don't know, but in a sense, when you value health and when you see the cost of it, etc., it's irrelevant, and the benefits from that are just wonderful. So, I mean, look, I think if your community has questions on, there might be some different health issues out there that people are stuck and they're down at a no-through road, or I always say chasing a parked car, and they've run into, what does this mean for me? Love to catch up with you. It's been, really an honor and really privileged to share it with your community and use that to talk about the next generation. I'm there for you guys to at least put a torch down the road that I've been. A lot of funny stories with you, and don't worry, there's some amazing, really funny stories, and working with people I've never met before. With Juka over there just sounds like she's ready to talk. She wants to jump on, but there's some really funny stories. And when we're really delighted with our health, when we get an act on looking after ourselves and we get okay with it, and that you're not dragged out to the pub for 10 beers and you go for 3 and you enjoy it and think, no, I'm getting up in the morning and I hit sunrise and I'm just going to do some crazy things for the day, or whatever that is. For everybody's, it's different. When you get an act of looking after yourself, there is no turning back on it. It's a wonderful journey to appreciate your biochemistry.
Yeah, I can't wait. I think, it's taking the guesswork out, as you said, and this is the beginning of a conversation. I'd love to have you back in a couple of months maybe, and I've tested it and a few of the clients have tested it too, and we can kind of share a bit more from practical experience. But I'd love to know just a couple last questions. I'll just fire these at you. If you could tell the world on one text message, it went out to every single person's phone right now.
Wow.
And it was a notification. It was like everyone, right? Everyone you can think of, they got this one message. It could be a quote or a word or a whole sentence or whatever it is. What would that message be?
Oh, you're going to bring tears in my eyes now. Zach, I would love to text you and the whole world to say, to know you are complete. Know that everything you are and have within you is enough. And so I often wondered, because I'd lost everything in my life and I went down to a very dark place and not suicidal, but I'm not that far in a sense. I just wanted to know the truth. And what I discovered, I suppose I share with everybody, is that you're enough. Know you're complete because you are enough. And that the discovery of this journey like this, it's here for the next 60 years for you, 20 for me, maybe, I don't know. But you are complete and know you're enough. That's what I'd like to share with everybody. And start from that premise. Start from the premise that you are enough and work from there. That's what I would share with everyone.
That's awesome. That's very insightful and very humbling, and yeah, such a great reminder. It is that chasing after the parked car. I love that analogy, and so yeah, that's really awesome. Thank you so much. I'd love to also know one last question: is if you had $1,000 right now, and you had to spend it on health practices or health actions to get you healthy, what would you spend that $1,000 on?
Yeah, tough guy. Okay, $1,000. Where would I spend it? How would I spend it? Well, that's a really good question. I think I'd probably spend it in sharing the information on good hydration with those that didn't. So let's say I'd love to spend it on clean water or a system for clean water for, let's say, a country or an area, or even, wherever that is. And please don't pick me up, whether it's Papua New Guinea or wherever it is, go into a village and give them clean water. Water is fundamental to our life. If I could spend $1,000 to take it to a philanthropic guy and say, I'll put 1,000 down, you give me $10 for every one of my dollars, I'd go and try and multiply it. Of course, that's the thinking, but I'd like to spend it in giving a village clean water, because water, in a sense, the cleanliness of all of our waters, of everybody here today, I guarantee 75% won't be correctly hydrated, probably more. So I'd share my money around to, then I'd get you guys in to test and measure them and to see the health improvements by correctly hydrating their body. That's where I'd probably spend it. That was a tough question. I haven't had $1,000 for a while.
Just a bit out there, just to kind of get some awareness around what you would do. That's really cool. I love that. And if you could multiply it from someone investing, $10 for every $1, that's a really smart idea. Getting investment, that's really cool. And yeah, any final comments for people at home, with what they're going through, with where the world's at right now?
Okay.
What's the final comments, and we'll wrap this up.
Well, look, I would just a few takeaways, which I love when I sort of listen to ebooks or just really listen for the person behind that book and their messages, etc. So there's a lot to take in today. Some of the conversations around things that I'd never heard before in my life, and I've taken a decade to travel to America, learn a lot of these, and I looked at a lot of practitioners. I've looked at thousands of tests, and I've worked with all different health issues. And as much as you want to embrace this or any other health information for yourself personally, grab at both hands. You talk about wealth. I've been in a situation where I've lost everything and I've felt I've had nothing. Today, I haven't got a lot more, so to speak, in the material things, but I am just blessed with the health that I have, and I wouldn't swap it for anything in the world. Nothing. And I've seen what ill health does, and people my age is starting to get the notices in the paper that if you've dropped off the perch, and there's a few got health issues at my age, and there's issues that are all pinging up. We're getting the signs now. We can hear the bells ring, and someone's got this or got that. And do you know what? Some of those are multimillionaires and would swap everything they've got for my health today. So be really careful, those that are sharing some time today, listening to all of your good news, is start with good hydration. Start with understanding. And I will say to people, I'd never guess with a set of numbers and tell you what to do, but I would start, if you wanted to shift some health issues, making sure you're peeing close to clear, not clear. There's a bit of color in it. Of course, eat a wide variety of food, wide variety. Stop addicting to one thing or every week the same meals, and start with good hydration, clean as you can afford it. And a lot of people get in this argument about bottled water and things like that. That's okay. Sure, I don't want plastic taken out of this planet or left on this planet either. But you have to have a good mindset to change that world, and you cannot do it dehydrated. So so I can argue both sides of the fence. We don't want plastic. Let's clean up the world. But in a sense, what I'd share with people today is go away, have a look at how much you're drinking. And this one takeaway, and be careful. Don't drink too much. You can overhydrate your body, and it will cause issues. So drink about 2 or 3 mouthfuls every half hour is enough for about 10 hours a day. So you've got sort of 20 half hours there in that 10 hours. For a normal day, start at 7 o'clock in the morning, finish about 5 o'clock, so you're not peeing all night, but start and correctly hydrate your body. We do it with numbers, so we don't guess. But if somebody wanted to shift a little bit of something and test what we talked about today, go and hydrate your body for 3 days, just concentrating on little sips all day, and tell me you're not better off in 3 days' time. Start there. Okay. And don't ring me at 2 o'clock in the morning because I'm up all night peeing. That's your body getting rid of rubbish. And don't drink too much. And I mean water. I don't mean alcohol or anything else. I mean, sure, we've all done that. Let's not get to those stories. But don't drink too much so you're peeing water, because you're flushing all the goodness out of your system. So a little bit less is a little bit better than too much. So I'm really careful in saying that, and please take care when you do try that, because we go by the numbers. We won't guess. I'll tell you what's the right amount of hydration based on your coming out of your body, and you'll change those steps in a couple of weeks' time. You'll nail it, and your energy will go through the roof. So that's why I say, warning: don't drink too much water, don't overhydrate, don't pee clear, but start to just get systematically. If your community, Zach, would do that for 3 days and just try that one thing, I know that they'll come back and want to talk to you.
That's it. Stop guessing, everyone. This is your health. This is your life. The whole guessing game is over. If you want more insight, humanhealth.com. Connect with the team there. And yeah, everyone at home, start hydrating. As they say, a little bit of salt, maybe a little lemon, squeeze a lemon or cucumber for the electrolytes, structured. And let us know. Send us back an email, send us back a message, and let us know just the next 3 days. Hydrate, a couple glasses, a couple of mouthfuls every 30 minutes.
Say 2 or 3 mouthfuls.
7 to 5.
Yeah. So for 10 hours. So we've got 20 half hours in that. So let's say from 7 a.m. And even if you get stuck and you think, well, I can't do it, I'm at work, I'm on a phone call, probably, have more than that. You could probably have 200 mils, and that might cover you. But again, I'm telling you to guess. It's what we don't do. But without those instruments, without knowing, it's okay. Well, let's just start somewhere. Small amounts more often. That's all I can say for that day. And for a big man or a big woman, of course, it's a bit more than a 60-kilo man or woman. So 2 or 3 mouthfuls usually is a good measure that, usually a big man's got a big mouth. Let's not go there. And usually a small man's got a small mouth. Okay. Might just go too fast. That's all. But so drink consistently small amounts through the day. And that's the best we can say without guessing, without instruments. And then I would say, as a guide, remember, we don't know the sugar and salt in there, so I'm guessing, please forgive me, but I'm trying to get started for you guys and say, well, if you're peeing close to clear, we've got a good start. Okay.
Oh, fascinating. Phil, I'm sure we could talk for hours, but thank you so much for your time. And we look forward to having you back on in a couple of months with everyone's new insights. So thank you so much.
You.
And
Thanks
everyone at
very
home.
much, Zach. Well done. Thank you very much.
No worries. Thanks so much. See ya.